Alright, here we are. Back from Fanime. I decided to wear my con badge. So, how is everyone? Oh, I thought there was something on the camera lens for a moment. Now I realize it's just light reflection. Okay. I thought maybe I'd open up sharing some photos I took at Fanime, and maybe also photos from the Nintendo store and the Oakland Zoo. I was a bit hesitant about the Fanime ones just because there will be a lot of crowd shots and, I don't want to, show people who don't, total strangers' faces on a stream. So I want to be careful. Hi, Wax Badger. Yeah, so let me, see. What will I start with first? Maybe the Oakland Zoo, just because I'm trying to remember, what date did I... Okay, May 15th. When did I go to the Nintendo store the first time, where it was May 8th? Okay, I guess I'll show off my Oakland Zoo photos first. And then we'll start getting in. I'll do the Hiragana Katakana comic again. And then I might build some of this. Yeah, I got this at Fanime. Probably spent way too much money at both Fanime and the Nintendo store. But let me see. Let me open OBS Studio. Woke up yesterday and did drawing as usual, and then the second I stopped, it was already night. I guess getting into the zone is more powerful than I thought. Also, I got a commission for a friend who is in the Downy dumps for the past 4 weeks. That's nice. Anyway, I'm gonna see. Is this? I guess shrink this down. Whoops, disappeared. But anyway, let's look at some of my my photos. This is from the Oakland Zoo. First photo, looking at the entrance is the flamingo pond, although I don't know why it's looking all green. That does not look good. This fence here was not always there. If I remember, I think the last time I went to the Oakland Zoo in college and for my dad's birthday in 2019, I don't think this fence was there, but I'm gonna guess maybe they put it up there. Well, I don't think there's any risk of the flamingos flying away, but maybe they don't want people throwing food at them or something. And unfortunately, I took these with my phone. I wish I had brought my Sony camera, which I think would have had better resolution or something. So there's going to be some photos where, the phone focuses on the fence rather than the animals. And this was some sort of special event, so we didn't go to the full zoo, we just saw some certain areas. We're getting a better look at the flamingos. And then here are the giraffes. The giraffe exhibit. They were all eating. And I've been to this exhibit several times, but let's see. Yeah, here's the rear end of a giraffe. Here we go. Here's the front end of a giraffe here. Just eating plants. I remember the California Academy of Science has a whole taxidermy giraffe, and it's quite amazing to see, this life-size giraffe there in the museum. And I think I remember, I think I went there with my animal anatomy teacher in college, and she mentioned, since these are taxidermied animals, they like the skin kind of slowly shrinks and onto the bones and everything, and it's kind of good for anatomy artists because you can see the body structures and everything. I think this here is the tiger pit. I have to zoom in. Yeah, you can see the tiger sleeping right there. Whoops. I didn't want to do that. zoom out too much. Okay, how do I... Where's the next button? I want to go to the... Is this the... No, not share. I want to... There we go. Okay, I zoomed in to see the tiger better. Oh, that's cute, having a baby giraffe. Oh yeah, and I saw this sign, say no to photo ops, cub petting, and roadside zoos. Yeah, I don't remember why I took a picture of this. Oh, I now remember. It's like someone I knew in a group once, like, often shared photos of himself, like, with... I guess he volunteered at a zoo or something, and he'd often share photos of himself, like, petting lion cubs or something. And I guess he volunteered at a actual zoo, not like a roadside zoo. But it just made me a bit curious, like, what sort of zoo was he volunteering at that he could get all these photos of himself petting lion cubs? Because I can't imagine that happening at the Oakland Zoo or something. And then this was... We were passing by the giraffes and went up a gondola. There was some, like... spiels that the zookeepers were doing on certain animals. There's like a lower area of the Oakland Zoo and an upper area where I guess it's about specifically focuses on California wildlife, and you get while you're on the gondola you get a view underneath you, and you can see some of the other exhibits. Like right there you can see a camel. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get a close-up, ground level view of the camel, but I have several nice photos of Oakland here. Yeah, and then all the trees and everything. I should upload a few of my my zoo photos. Yeah, because I posted a lot of pictures from Fanime and the Nintendo store, but I haven't yet shared anything from this Oakland Zoo visit. Yeah, just a bunch of shots. And here we are arriving at the gondola, where the gondolas land, I guess. This is the bald eagle exhibit. Again, I wish I did this with my Sony camera, but I have to zoom in, and it's very pixelated to see the bald eagle right there. Oh, there's a much better zoom in. Actually, this isn't a bad photo. Like, thought it'd be a pixelated mess, but that's actually not bad. Yeah, I got a few photos. I think there were like 2 or 3 bald eagles in this exhibit. I don't remember. And you can see, it's all caged off and everything. Gray wolf habitat. Please do not howl at the wolves. A literal Noah Woo sign. Hello, Seamaster. And then we have some things on like body language. And this is the wolf habitat. Most of the animals were just sleeping, so it wasn't really... We weren't seeing them doing anything really exciting, and it took me a while to find the wolves. I don't remember if there was like only one of them or 2 of them, but it was just sleeping. Resting. There it is, resting in shade, and then it got up, walked around, and then it rested under this fenced area right below. And unfortunately, the camera focused on the fence and not the wolf. Yeah, there's a good, above view of the wolf sleeping. Yeah, there was also, I think, I'm trying to remember. There was like one exhibit, I think it was a jaguar exhibit or something, but I didn't see any jaguars. Yeah, this is a photo I have of the jaguar habitat, but they weren't out. And then this was one of the spiels we listened to at the Oakland Zoo. They had a presentation on mountain lions, and here you can see one of the mountain lions was named Silverado. I don't remember the name of the female mountain lion, And they had a 10-month-old mountain lion that was separated because they didn't want the other mountain lions getting into a fight with the young one before it was strong enough to defend itself. And there we see one of the mountain lions climbing up on this pole. I have a lot of photos of these mountain lions just because the presentation they were giving lasted like 10-20 minutes. Long story short, basically it was about humans and wild animals coexisting and how we have to be careful with conservation and make sure you clean up your garbage on campsites because you don't want mountain lions or bears coming into human territory and wrecking shit. And the black bears was the next exhibit we looked at. So I've got a lot of mountain lion photos here. Yeah. Here we have a mountain lion staring at the crowd. Probably thinking, "Heavens to Murgatroyd! I am a star! The center of attention even!" Yeah, it's mostly the male and female they had that I took photos of. I don't remember if I took any photos of the 10-month-old. That was like, oh, section off in this little cage over here. If I zoom in, this is where the 10-month-old mountain lion was kept. I think you can barely see it there. Let's see if I... Yeah, there's a better view of the separate cage right there where they kept the 10-month-old. And there I've got the back view of one of the adult mountain lions. And here's the thing on the mountain lion's multiple names. There was also a thing on mountain lion poop. Like, I did not take any pictures of that display, but I guess I guess, you know, for campers, they want to make sure people know, you know, if there's a wild animal nearby, you know, look for the warning signs, one of which is finding out where the animals go to the bathroom. Jaguar or Jaguar? I always said it Jaguar. I mean, it could be just a tomato thing. Or Mario. Okay, this would be the grizzly bear exhibit. You can see like a giant fuzzy hump there. That's one of the grizzly bears. Yeah, well, there it is now noticing us. Yeah, and unfortunately the fences. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of good photos, but I have some better photos later on. And that's one of the black bears kept off in this fenced off area, but they also did a spiel on the black bears, and I'll have a bunch of photos of them. They were let out eventually so the whole crowd could see them. Yeah, if I go through these photos, oh, there's a thing on grizzly bears and showing off a grizzly bear print. Yeah, okay, there's a... Well, that's not one of the better photos, but eventually I get some close-ups of... I think that's one of the grizzly bears. Yeah. Yeah, okay, this is one of the more better closer-up photos where, and I might have some video also. Like, the way they fed the grizzly bear, they had some sort of ice... It was like a... I'm not sure how to describe it. It was like an ice bowl, but they like... I guess they froze something in ice, and I guess there was like fish or some other food in there, and the bear was basically chewing on the ice, breaking it open to get to what was inside. Yeah, so these are some of the better close-up photos I got. And somewhere I probably have video. Yeah, there's a chart on the difference between grizzly bears and black bears. Well, the difference is grizzly bears are brown and bigger, and black bears are smaller and black. Okay, this is when they let the black bears out. There were 3 of them. One was a mama bear, and they had her 2 now adult-sized children. And basically the zookeeper told us how they got these animals. It was like the mother bear was like a bear that became normalized to humans and was like going through campsites or something, or houses, eating up, destroying shit and eating people's food. And basically the zoo rescued them and gave them a new home. And that's basically one of the dangers of wild animals. If they become too used to humans, they might start coming into human territory, going through garbage or campsites where there's food that's not secured, or going into people's cars and everything. And they don't want wild animals destroying things and possibly hurting people. And I got a lot of photos of these bears. I got a few, I guess you might say, full family shots where it's the three of them. And then I have a few where it's just individual. Here's a bear walking, somehow balancing on this little wooden fence. I was a bit worried, like, what if they fell off? I'm not sure that would be all that funny, although these are really big animals. They're probably really tough. Yeah, some of these photos I took with my phone, and others I took with my iPad, because my phone battery was low. And I don't know, like, if the phone photos are better or if the iPad photos are better, because you'd think the iPad having a larger screen would, like, maybe have better resolution. But I shot some videos at Fanime with my iPad just to save battery on my phone, and maybe it's just because the iPad's blowing up the video bigger, but I think the iPad videos are a little more pixelated than my iPhone videos. But I'm not really sure. I'll see when I start editing my videos for YouTube. Yeah, there's some more photos. I have a ton of photos of these black bears just because the spiel the zookeeper was giving went on for a while. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they're just, if I remember correctly, before the black bears came out, there were some zookeepers in the black bear area, like, throwing what looked like batches of fur or snacks or something. And I guess, I think they said there was, like, bison hair or something. And basically to get the bears to come out and, do things that are interesting in front of the people and not just sleep or something. They get the bears' interest piqued by, having different sort of smells around their little exhibit, and bison hair was like what they were throwing out. And then this is like the American bison exhibit, except we couldn't find the bison. And then we saw one of the grizzly bears nearby this pole here. It was kind of funny. He was just rubbing against this pole. And then back at the giraffes, I saw a giraffe that was lying down, and I took some photos of that. Yeah, there's a little giraffe there. It's kind of funny how its legs are positioned almost like it's a little unwieldy. And there's that giraffe lying down. And while I was here, I saw one visitor who was drawing the giraffes. I didn't get a chance to draw any animals, but I told that guy that I was also an artist. He said unfortunately he doesn't post his artwork, but he said for him it's just drawing animals is relaxing to him. So it was nice to meet another artist at the zoo, even though he's not active online. And this is me back at the tiger exhibit. And the tiger, surprisingly, has moved. It's now on one of these platform things. And there's actually two tigers. We went to the other side and found the other tiger sleeping in this little corner. Yeah, really pretty looking kitty. And then back at the flamingo exhibit here, and we had another, I guess, zookeeper spiel. talking about oh yeah, I took a picture of some of the food I had. Excuse me. Um, okay, let me find a picture of this parrot actually showing its front. There we go. Yeah, this parrot's name is Brock, and it's 47 years old. So it's actually been at the zoo since the 1980s, and it's kind of funny because that would mean this parrot has been around before the Pokemon games came out. So they named this parrot Brock, long before Brock the gym leader made his debut in Pokemon Red and Blue. So I just find that kind of funny. And I was thinking of, like, what if I drew some artwork of Brock the parrot as Brock from Pokemon. There we go. Brock only knew one word. It knew how to say hello, and it said hello a few times. Yeah, and I just have a bunch of photos of Brock here. Let's see. Oh, there's some of my videos at the bottom of... yeah, so... yeah, I just have a lot of photos I took of Brock. Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's the zookeeper feeding Brock. Basically explaining Brock is kind of an overweight bird and has not flown a lot, but they'll still try to get, I think if I remember correctly, they still try to get Brock to exercise his wing muscles so they're not completely useless, even though he's out of practice on flying. And I was very surprised to learn that, like, certain parrots can live to be, like, 60 years old. I didn't know they lived that long. So I was surprised to see a 47-year-old bird here at the zoo. So let's just ignore that message. And there is one more. Oh, here's Brock stretching his wings. There is one more animal I saw. Here we go. It was one of the wild turkeys. Not part of the zoo, but just, I don't know, I guess they hang out because they're waiting for, like, I don't know, scraps of food left by zoo visitors or something. But that was the Oakland Zoo, and let's see. Some of these videos are probably, if I open this. Oh yeah, I forgot. Since I don't have my my speaker plugged in, I can't hear anything from the video. And unfortunately, I don't think I got any video of Brock saying hello, but I do at least have Brock standing here, stretching his wings, getting fed. And then here's some of the flamingos. And you can see I don't remember what the other birds are called, like a type of stork or something. They coexist peacefully. You can see one flamingo trying to flap its wings, but not going anywhere. And here's a video I took of the giraffes. I don't remember if this was with my iPhone or on my iPad. Maybe my iPad, just because I think my phone was dying. And then there's the grizzly bear rubbing itself against that pole. There we go. There's a video I took of one of the black bears. If I wanted, I could use this as an animation reference if I wanted to draw a bear walking or something. Even though it's a black bear, it looks very brown. Let's see. Oh, another video I shot of the grizzly. This is the grizzly bear with that ice bowl thing, chewing it up. This is kind of a stupid question I didn't ask while at the zoo, but, like, I see birds, flying into these cages, and I wondered, what's stopping these animals from like massacring any birds, like flying into their cages. Like, hey, free food here, and it didn't come from the zookeepers. I forgot to mention that when we were finished with the upper area, looking at the California animals, we got back in the gondola to go back down to the lower part of the zoo, and the zookeeper that was talking about the black bears, actually, she was going down. She had to go down to the lower part of the zoo. She actually got into our gondola, and we got to talk to her a bit. Yeah, and there's another video I shot of the grizzly bear trying to open that ice bowl thing. Okay, I think that's the last video I have. Yeah, okay. I think, what else will I show? How about I show some of the Nintendo store? Now, I had 2 visits to the Nintendo store. I visited the Nintendo store on the 18th, which was just a few days after they opened. However, I didn't know that they were still reservation only the first couple days. So I'll show off some of the photos I took. My first visit where I didn't get to go into the store. I think I photographed this spot here because this is where I don't know. I guess whenever I do chick tracts, I wanted to show off the spot where I received this tract. This is Your Life from a Total Stranger. It was on this spot nearby the Powell BART station. And then here we are. And, I saw this funny Ninja Turtles advertisement on the ground. Let me rotate it. Yeah, but you can see I took a picture of one of the ads there. Going through. And then here's the Nintendo store here. But unfortunately, it was reservation only. And so I couldn't go in. So I just took a couple photos of the outside. But yeah, and I also visited the Academy of Art. And you can see some of the photos here. I took some strange selfies. Yeah, this would be the Academy of Art Powell building. And I have a picture of Shank here because this is the building where I first created Shank. He was made for one of my 2D character animation class, and I just wanted to take a picture here and be like, here I am revisiting Shank's birthplace. But you probably see on the sign that apparently the Powell building was like closed for some reason. I have some more photos here. Like a friend and I was visiting San Francisco with a friend, and when I saw that the Nintendo store wasn't open to the general public, we decided to just do our own thing. And I went through Chinatown and saw a bunch of stores with Pokemon plushies, and I took a few photos. Yeah, this is a really nice Trico plushie here. The only thing is I don't know if it's official or a bootleg, because Chinatown has a lot of bootlegs. And you'll see I have a bunch of photos from my second Nintendo store visit where I actually got to go in when they were open to the public. But I want to do this in chronological order. So let's see. How much have I? 36 minutes. Okay. Before I show my second visit to the Nintendo store, how about I show off some of my Fanime stuff? Now, I want to be careful because, there are crowd shots, and I don't, I showed a picture of the Nintendo store, and you could partially see someone's license plate. Like, that's something I kind of want to avoid. So I don't want to, show people's faces that don't want to be seen or something. But, and before I went to Fanime, I visited a friend that was in San Jose, and I took a picture of some of the wildlife. There's a squirrel. There were a lot of squirrels in this area. So, and then actually visiting actual area in Fanime. Like there's fountains in San Jose. It kind of reminded me of a bunch of fountains in Disneyland. I think in Tomorrowland. And crossing the street, there's, I think, the Marriott. And I decided to take a picture of this. You know, they had a lot of posters and stickers, you know, showing people directions, where to find registration and everything. And there's this really cute fox and tanuki characters. And the artist that drew these, all the designs and everything for Fanime, like, she actually had a table in the artist alley, and you can see my badge. Well, if I... Let me blow this up. My badge has, I think, the kitsune on it. There were people that also had badges. There were different badges, but they also came with, like, the tanuki I just showed. Yeah, so let's go back. Oh, Fanime, for if you don't know, that's an anime convention in San Jose. It's in the same area as Further Confusion. What's the best way to tell if something's a bootleg besides the blatant obvious? Usually quality. Like maybe if you've seen like maybe some of you have seen that one deranged Garfield doll on let me bring it up. Like I think let me bring up the Garfield doll I'm thinking of. I think like certain former that guy with the glasses people have had the doll, like geez, what's his name? Was it Phalis? Garfield bootleg, excuse me, doll. The one that became a meme. This one. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. This ugly mofo. Yeah, like low quality like this. Miscolored. I mean, when I was in Chinatown, you know, the times I've been there, there'll be Pokemon plushies that are weirdly off model or miscolored, or they'll have labels on them where they're faded, or it's like it's very obvious they did like poor Photoshop jobs, things like that. I mean, not to say that, you know, you shouldn't buy bootlegs, but it's like, I don't know, if you like, I guess if you're a collector or something and you want like authentic items you want to sell, you know, you might want to check and make sure what you're buying is for real. Like, there's a county fair in Pleasanton near me, and they've sold some Pokemon plushies. Like, they sold some sort of rare black Pikachu plush that I had no idea, where did this come from? And I had to Google it, and it turned out like it came from some 2018 event, but they're like really rare, and the ones you see at, like, I guess either in Chinatown or in, you know, county fairs, those are probably just bootlegs of this really rare black Pikachu plush. And let's go back. I guess, you know, you just have to Google and make sure, like, I'm trying to think. There's like one YouTuber named Sonic something who often does videos talking about plushes and like lost toys or something that are really rare. And I think he might have videos talking about the difference between like authentic plushes and bootlegs, or custom made plushes or something. I know, but let's get back to Fanime. Oh, there's a picture of me, you know, showing off my my badge. I should probably explain the little ribbon here that I put on it, but I'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, so, oh, that's a picture I took of the little booklet, Tom Fawn, the voice of Agumon. Yeah, I got to meet him and his wife Dorothy, and yeah, okay, I took pictures of maps. I'll just skip those. Let me just look at... let's see. I haven't posted every single photo on... I only posted the most interesting photos on Blue Sky. So these are some of the other photos I took. There's this one area where you can like pick up a sign and hold it around the con. Yeah, I got con feet, hide the pain. Is that supposed to be the diabetes meme guy? I don't remember. But yeah, I took a close-up shot of that one, and all your waifus belong to the Grouch. Yeah, there's a lot of very strange... Yeah, when you see all the things you want at the con, yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. They went extinct for your sins. I think that's Raptor Jesus. Line Con is best con. Yeah, let's see what else. Oh, yeah, a really large Porygon I saw in the game room. When I went to Fanime in 2019, there was an arcade cabinet for F-Zero AX, which if I had known that that cabinet was there, I would have brought my memory card with me because I own F-Zero GX. But connecting the two games like allows you to unlock the arcade content on GX much easier than completing story mode. I mean, there's probably hundreds of reviews of F-Zero GX talking about how gruelingly difficult story mode is. But unfortunately, they didn't have the F-Zero AX cabinet back this year. But I took some... Oh, and there's... Oh, volunteer hours. Yeah, and in case, some of you might have seen me, yeah, F-Zero AX is the arcade version of F-Zero GX. Yes, that's true. Maybe some of you saw me saying in my journals or something that I was going to volunteer. And so, I have the volunteer rules. This becomes really important. Like explaining, volunteer this amount of time. You get to you get to stay in the artist alley and the dealer's hall like an extra hour. Like, wow, what a great perk. But if you volunteer 20 hours, you get to participate in a prize drawing. And that's where I had some confusion looking at this chart. I didn't look at it carefully. I thought, like, the way things were explained to me, I thought that you get you get to enter the prize drawing for volunteering 5, 10, 15 hours and you get more chances or something. I didn't read closely enough to see that you only get to do the prize thing if you do the full 20. So when I went back to the volunteer office to like try and say, hey, can I enter the prize raffle thing? It's like, oh, no, these are the actual rules. And it's like, oh, well, shit. I volunteered like 10 hours and I'm not getting like nothing in return. So that kind of sucked. But I at least know now that if I want to get a prize or something, I have to read the rules for whatever con I'm at a lot more carefully. But it was still an interesting experience. Let's see. What other... Oh, I haven't shared this. Someone was wearing a nose pass, I'm not sure, suit or something. And I guess they left it here to take a rest or something, and I thought it looked kind of cute. Yeah, and I have a bunch of QR codes for different artists I visited in the artist alley. But I want to show, like... Oh! Yeah, this is one of the things I bought. Some keychains by, what's their... Omega Watt. That's their... 1 Megawatt. That's their name. Yeah. Yeah. Totodile and Trico are some of my favorite Pokemon, so that's why I get a lot of their stuff. Yeah, here's a silly photo I took that I shared on Blue Sky. Going in the... I bought some Starbursts in the lunch lounge. There's like a Starbucks or something downstairs. And that's where I went for lunch. And I bought Starbursts for a snack, and I went in the gaming room and looking for a friend. And when I came across the no food sign, and I thought, as a joke, let me have the Garfield puppet holding the Starbursts in front of the no food sign. Garfield thumbing his nose at the anti-food rules. And then, I wish I took more photos of this. Late in the evening, there was something called Swap Meet, which is basically a giant, flea market, and it's held in this big tent where I remember when I first went to Fanime in 2013, that's where they had all the artists, but now they've moved the artists into the San Jose Convention Center. And I think I remember one year, like, was it back in 2013? I remember next to Fanime, there was also a marijuana con called Hemp Con going on. So, I don't know. It would probably be very interesting to check out Hemp Con one year just to see what it's like, even though I don't smoke or anything. And, a friend of mine was going to the swap meet, and I wasn't sure what a swap meet was. I thought, like, is it kind of like, I don't know, the swap puzzle feature in the Nintendo 3DS, but no, it's basically just a flea market, and this was a funny sign I decided to take a picture of. Tariff-free, you know, that stuff in the dealer's room won't be. Yeah, so I thought that was a neat little sign, and I took pictures of some of what people were selling. This was something that kind of confused me. I saw a CD of what I thought was Mega Man 9, and I'm like, that was a download game. Why would there be a CD unless someone bootlegged the game, or if this was a CD version of the game was put out to, I don't know, as a special contest that Capcom did, but I asked to see the CD up close, and it was actually like someone doing remix music from Mega Man games, and you can see it actually says Mega Ran 9. Yeah, no, there's an X and Zero figurine that I took pictures of. And, I saw someone had a VHS of Garfield in the Rough. I remember seeing these VHSs in Blockbuster as a kid. This is really weird. Like, the plot of Garfield in the Rough, spoilers for a 40-year-old Garfield TV special, is that a panther breaks out of a zoo and is, like, running loose in this campsite where Garfield and John are camping. And I find it strange that you have a lying cover here, making it look like there's going to be some person that's scaring everyone at the camp. But no, it's actually a panther. And I just like this VHS. Okay, those are just screen caps from the show, the TV special. But I like this VHS cover because it looks a lot like book covers for old Garfield books. Like, if you excuse me just a moment, let me embiggen the video here. Let me just really quick get some actual Garfield books. Alright. Let's see. Any others? I thought. Shit, there was some old Garfield. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they look a lot like the covers of old Garfield storybooks. Garfield's Picnic Adventure. Yeah, this one had a cassette tape with it. Garfield's Longest Cat Nap. Okay, that's kind of a boring cover, just because it's Garfield sleeping. But if I open it up, you'll see that it looks. The VHS cover looks a lot like old artwork you'd see on Garfield books. Garfield's Great Race. I did a video talking about this. This is it's weird. This is a book from the 80s or something. Then the opening cover here has artwork of Garfield from 2002. Yeah, this is an 80s Garfield book that was reprinted. But if you've seen my video talking about this book, it got a remake in the Garfield Stupid Cupid book, and then Garfield and the Space Cat. Garfield the Cat Show. Yeah. In one of my first Garfield storybooks, Garfield's Haunted House and Other Spooky Tales, you can see this book is falling apart. I should probably, if I find a newer a used version of this book in a half-price books, I'll probably replace this falling apart copy with a newer one, and the back of the book gives me, I guess I could order these off Amazon or eBay or something, finding these other Garfield storybooks that I'm missing. Because I remember the daycare I went to had a book called Garfield Where's the Fire? It was a book on fire safety. Garfield's Furry Tales. Garfield's Stupid Cupid. That's the one with Racing Rex, the remake of Garfield's Great Break. Garfield's Great Break. Garfield's Great Race. And probably, I don't know, I've thought of making a video about this one. This is probably accidentally one of Garfield's most controversial books that I don't think anybody talks about. Garfield Discovers America, the book about Garfield and Christopher Columbus. Yeah, I think my favorite... Yeah. I mean, given the bad rap Columbus has now, I don't think a book like this would be well received. If you know everything about Christopher Columbus being so cruel that he was sent to prison or something. But today, he's celebrated as a hero. But I will say I do like this one illustration where the King of Spain, I think it's the King of Spain, biting his scepter. And it's Garfield telling Nermal a story about how one of his ancestors are the one that discovered America. Although it doesn't mention the whole thing about how Garfield also believes that Wyoming doesn't exist. Okay, where was I again? Oh yeah, I was talking about Fanime. Yeah, I should, let's shrink back down. Go back to my Fanime pictures. Sorry, it's just, I got distracted because I'm a big Garfield fan. I just wanted to geek out. Okay, there's Score Bunny. Oh, I think I took a picture of this just because you can see the poster for James Gunn's Superman movie that's coming out in, I think, July. I just find it funny that, this movie has not yet come out yet as of the filming of this stream. And yet here it is, people already selling it in flea markets. When you've got posters for older movies like, Thor the Dark World. The MCU movie everybody hates until, Eternals came out, and now it's like, okay, maybe this movie wasn't as bad. Yeah, Thor the Dark World isn't very good, but at least it's not as bad as Eternals. And, there's a Yoshi Chu or something. Bastard cousin of Sonichu. Oh, and this was on the free table where, you could just either leave stuff or just take stuff. Listen and Learn Japanese cassette tapes, and it comes with a 206-page manual, except I opened it up, and there's no manual, it's just the tapes. Yeah, so... plus, I don't have a cassette tape player anymore, so even if I wanted this, I couldn't listen to them unless I found, I don't know, I bought a cassette tape player off the internet or something. Yeah. Oh, and there's also tapes for French, German, Italian, and Spanish. Alright. Oh, and almost forgot. This was a neat picture I took. A bunch of trees outside. This is the San Jose Art Museum. I've passed by that art museum so many times, going to Further Confusion, but I've never actually been there. I should go there someday, but I just want to take a picture of all these palm trees, because when I visit San Jose in January to go to Further Confusion, usually there's a big ice skate rink here, but they removed it, and I don't remember these palm trees being there. Maybe I don't know, maybe my memory is bad or something, but it looks like I don't know, I guess they're not going to have the ice skate rink there anymore. They're just going to have these palm trees there. And I like that they got the red, white, and blue lights on them. That was day 1 of Fanime. Let's look at some day 2 photos. Oh, yeah. I went... So, day 1 I checked out the artist alley, but day 2 I checked out the dealer room, which is mostly just people selling merchandise. There are a few artists in there, but it's mostly just anime merch. And I saw this Mega Man 11 statue. But here's a model kit I was really, really waiting for. Mega Man X's third armor, and it's colored for using Triad Thunder, one of the weapons in that game. And this is also the same spot where they had Axel, and that's where I bought the Axel model kit. So let's see. Let's look at. Oh, yeah, and this is well, I have a cropped version. This was my photo with Tom Fawn, the voice of Agumon. I went to a panel he did, Q&A with his wife, and I afterward I took this photo with him, and I got him to autograph my my little Agumon box there. Yeah, so and I also took pictures of my first volunteer job ever. I kind of just signed up for some random tasks, and one of them was basically supervising a room that was doing I guess JoJo's Weird Adventure. Was it Bizarre Adventure? I don't remember. It's JoJo, but like just supervising a room that was playing episodes of JoJo, and watching over the laptop in the room, making sure nobody touches it, and that making sure the episodes play normally. And I was just there for about 2 hours, and I still had the Starbursts and some snacks from the volunteer room, and I decided to take a few photos, making it look like Garfield and Totodile were like watching episodes of JoJo together. Yeah, and I also took a few screenshots of JoJo. I sent like a photo or something to my brother just to ask, have because my brother's way more into anime than I am. I was just asking, do you recognize this episode or something? And he said yes. This is like some of the really early episodes. And I took a picture of like there was a little desk with people leaving their business cards, and I saw this thing for like I guess anime apparel or something. But this made me want to maybe make a little change to my Hiragana Katakana comic, because I was trying to read the characters here without looking at the English translation. It says Kaginado, but I mistook the Do character here for a different character. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was a B. Yeah, if I bring up, let me open up my comic here. Let me go to this one. I mistook the Do character here for B, because if I zoom in, here we go. I mean, if I compare, yeah, they looked kind of similar, but it's the Do character, and so I was thinking of I was thinking of like maybe making a note for the katakana for he/B/P, that not to confuse it with the hiragana for to/do. Yeah, because I found that when trying to read certain Japanese children's books, some of the Pokemon children's books I have that are in Japanese, like sometimes the font, the way they print the characters, can like make reading them a bit confusing. Like if it's a really bubbly font or something, then it might be hard to like try and figure out what the characters are. And having these bubbly looking characters did make it a bit challenging if you're more used to just reading them how they look when they're typed or something. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, I haven't shared a photo of this. There was like some sort of a VTuber, and they had this robot thing going around the con. It was very strange. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, let's see, a bunch more. Oh, someone selling pillows of Digimon characters. And it was kind of fun. Something that was kind of funny. Like, I saw some artists. I'm trying to remember. Who was it? I saw artists that were doing, like, commissions of anime characters or comic book characters and, like, making them look like old-style Japanese paintings. But, like, I saw two of those artists, like, across from each other, and I thought that was a little bit funny. And then I took a picture of myself when I bought the Axel figurine. I also have this random picture of a Gatorade here. The reason why is because I got this Gatorade in the lunch area, and I brought it with me to the JoJo viewing party room, and I accidentally left my Gatorade in that room, and so I came back just to see if it was still there, and lo and behold, it was. So I was glad I got my Gatorade back, even though there was barely any left. And I also took a picture of the swap meet. It was only open on Friday, but I decided to show that I bought an Ash Ketchum hat from the swap meet, and then I also have a picture of the God thing, No Face, from Spirited Away. Also, I'm not sure I'm going to show a picture of that. A Chris Chan cosplayer. I saw 3 Chris Chan cosplayers at Fanime. Yeah, that's very, very strange. JoJo's Circus. Yeah. And then I also took a picture of myself. There's also someone, I guess, cosplaying the DashCon ball pit. Also took some pictures of me as Peter on the dance hall. That was my second volunteer thing, being badge checker at the dance hall. However, they had a second badge checker, and she was like closer to where people were coming in, so I barely checked any badges. So it was mostly just me sitting there for 2 hours and only checking like maybe 5 people's badges, since the other person was closer to the door where people were coming in. So, but still, I at least got 2 hours, added to my under my volunteer belt. And also I have a picture of $8 because when I was paying for parking, I was rummaging through to get my receipt, and I saw that someone had left $8 there, and so it's, I asked, did anyone forget their money? And the people and I were just keep it. So it's like, it was like the machine gave me a discount on parking that day. So this is day 3, and I decided to take some goofy photos of Totodile and Garfield fighting over my volunteer armband. And there's Peter with a volunteer armband. Yeah, I didn't wear Peter very much because I wanted to clean him, but I didn't do that. I procrastinated too long, so I only wore Peter for some photo ops. And then while I was on my way to do my third volunteer task thing, I saw they were playing Who's That Pokemon, and just kind of funny, they had Totodile as an answer, and so I decided to pull out Totodile and take some pictures. And you can see the host is cosplaying Arthur from what's his name, the Mark Brown books. And my third volunteer task, I actually volunteered at the help desk in the artist alley, and my first task was to write a bunch of thank you hearts for everyone in the artist alley. So I don't know if by any chance anyone that was in the artist alley happens to watch this stream, just know that the hearts that said thank you and had a little smiley face under them, those were written by me. So I don't know if you're going to keep those hearts or not, but you can have some GuineaPigDan memorabilia. And I actually asked the con volunteers, like, is it okay if I sign, promote myself on these little hearts saying, sign GuineaPigDan or something, check me out on Twitch? And they said, no, I'm not allowed to do that. So it was just thank you, smiley face, or draw whatever. But you can't promote yourself. And this was the more interesting volunteer task to do. Like, I signed a few of these hearts, and then I went with one of the staff, con staff, to like go through the little hallways. Well, not the hall, well, the little rows, and make sure that like there were no lines like building up and blocking people going through the artist alley. I just followed and saw what she did. It's just that I was too afraid to like do any line policing myself because I didn't want to accidentally come off pushy or anything. So I just watched the staffer do it and just see what she does. And I also like answered a few people's questions if they were looking for like a particular artist, because we have the artist alley map there. And while I was going through the, following that staffer, like making sure there were no big lines, I saw this one con goer who had a particular Godzilla sticker that I liked. It was when Godzilla does that weird drop kick on his tail or something. And I wanted to try and see if I could find the artist, either in the artist alley or the dealer room that was selling that sticker, but unfortunately I couldn't find them. So I don't know. If anyone knows the sticker I'm talking about, I would like to find that artist on Etsy or whatever and buy one of those stickers. Because, pause and everything. Trying to think. This was the one volunteer job I liked just because I got to talk to other volunteers and con staff that were there. Actually interacting with people and not just sitting in a room or sitting at a door or something. So, this is something a little freaky. How many of you have seen those, modded versions of Super Smash Brothers or whatever, where they give Kirby human feet? Someone, I guess, I don't know if this is a custom-made plushie. Well, obviously it's custom-made because it's got... But I don't know if someone took an official Kirby plushie and cut off Kirby's actual feet and then put on these custom-made feet. Or if this is just, a completely custom-made Kirby doll. But someone had a Kirby with human feet plushie on their table and even put little fake toenails on one of them. So enjoy this cursed-looking Kirby plushie. Yeah. Yeah, something very strange. And then outside the front of the San Jose Convention Center, they had one of these things. I don't know, you usually see them in front of, places where they're selling cars or something. Car lots or whatever. They've got air blowing in the bottom of them and they're, waving in the wind or whatever. They had one of those here at Fanime, and they even had the Tanuki and Kitsune. Yeah, it's interesting. The artist that drew all the con books and everything, like having her art not only on the con books and posters, but also on this car lot inflatable thingy. I don't know what they're called. That's pretty funny. And then I have photos of me with a Garfield cosplayer that I posted on Blue Sky, and here's a selfie of me. Yeah, one of my other volunteer tasks was volunteering in the dealer hall, and but unfortunately I didn't get to sit at the dealer hall table. Instead, they had me sit in the corner of the dealer hall, basically guarding this curtained off area where staff go, and basically saying, don't let con attendees go into this curtain. So I just sat here for 2 hours being bored. However, I did get to take a few pictures of cosplayers that came by. There was yet another Chris Chan cosplayer, along with a person in a pickle suit that came by, and I took a picture. And the Chris Chan cosplayer even had the Love Quest sign or something. Yeah, so it's kind of a bit bizarre that there are so many people cosplaying Chris Chan, despite the crimes that Chris Chan committed. It's a little weird. And then I also have pictures of the SpongeBob Doodle person and Professor Utonium. I accidentally called him Utanium. I didn't remember the character's name. But, something else. I posted those to Blue Sky. I don't know if I feel comfortable posting pictures of the Chris Chan cosplayers on the Blue Sky, just because of the controversy around Chris Chan. And then here's an Odie hat that I saw. I wish I'd seen this earlier. But it's pretty funny that they're Odie hats. I'm trying to see. Oh, this might be a bit R-rated. AI runs better put on pussy. Someone vandalized a bus stop sign. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, an anti-AI protest or something. By the way, I should also note that Adobe is in San Jose, and Adobe is of the devil. Academy of Art students would have a lot to say about how bad Adobe is, and I'm sure also general customers about how predatory Adobe is with their business practices. And then here I am. I did a badge check duty at the dance hall again on Sunday. Only this time I was the only one doing. I was the only one there that time. So this time I actually was, actually checking badges because they didn't have a second person there. There was actually a second person that was going to be there, but he didn't come back, weirdly, which I feel bad because he was actually someone that was trying to do the full 20 hours of volunteering at Fanime. So I guess he went and did another task or something. And then I went then afterward I went to the volunteer office, and that's when I got the disappointment that, the prize raffle is only for people that did the full 20, but oh well. And so next time I go to Fanime or another con and volunteer, I'll know I'll know to check the volunteer rules a bit more carefully. And then here I took a few photos. This is me going back from the dance hall to the volunteer office before they told me the big disappointment. I took some photos outside because it looked like there was like a barbecue or something, a party going on outdoors. And there was a local band. Let me find... Yeah, there they are. They have the band name on the drums. Loud Life. That's what they were called. Yeah, I filmed 2 songs of theirs, and I'll probably post that on YouTube later. But it was nice seeing a little show before I went back and returned my my volunteer armband. Yeah, and then and I also saw someone with a Miku video playing on one of the hotel windows, and then and then I took some photos of Garfield and Totodile arguing over all the remaining volunteer snacks that I had. And then I also showed this off on Blue Sky, that I found a Japanese coin that was dropped in the parking lot when I was paying for parking the last time. Whoops. Yeah, and someone I think said it was a Showa era coin from the 80s. And then there I am showing off the Japanese coin with the British coin I had. Yeah, that was Fanime. And now, chronologically, we go back to the Nintendo store. Yeah, because this was on, what was it? Yesterday, I think, on Tuesday, yeah. And I'll show off some of what I bought. So you can imagine I spent hell of a lot of money, both on stuff at Fanime and then going to the Nintendo store. So this was, the Mephisto store. I passed by this when I went to the Nintendo store the first time. I just thought it was funny. Like, there's a Marvel character named Mephisto, and they have an M here, and it looks like Scarlet Witch's headgear. I don't know, that's a Herbert Hotel. I was thinking of showing this off in Ellie Geckos' his Discord, just because he has a dragon character named Herbert. And okay, here I am back at the Nintendo store, so let me show the actual inside. Yeah, kind of like a theme park, they gave us little armbands to wear. Nintendo's, and here I am in the entrance, and something I didn't know, there's actually a downstairs, so it's not just a one-floor store. And I took pictures of, they got Nintendo hats, a video I shot, looking at the Donkey Kong stuff. Yeah, different products. There's Mario, and I did a selfie there, doing an arm pump. And then, there was a really big big screen TV here, showing off Mario Kart 8. I think that was just for previews of games or something. Yeah, there was a wall. Not only did they have merchandise, they had actual games on sale. Here's something I never thought I'd see. A Sega Genesis controller in sale in a Nintendo store. What is this world coming to? You know, seeing Sega stuff on sale in the Nintendo store. This is downstairs. They had a statue of Link, the Inkling Girl. Yeah, now I found a bunch of lost Kokiri. What are they called? Kokiri or Koroks? That's it, Koroks, I think. Yeah, here they are. They need help being transported to their lost friend. Yeah. And then a bunch of Metroid stuff. The wireframe there, I think, is of Metroid Prime. They're Pikmin. I should actually... Do I have... Oh! Yeah, I should very quickly... How long have I been streaming? About an hour and 18. Oops, there we go. Oh, shit. Now I see there's a spammer. Okay, yeah. Just a moment. Delete. Ban. There. There we go. Yeah, this is I bought a Metroid hat. You can see the screw attack on it. And I also bought a screw attack pin. Yeah, the screw attack pin came in a little thing that said Metroid Dread. But the hat here is actually Metroid Prime themed. Because if you look at the bottom, I don't know if it's visible, it looks like you can see the Chozo artifact symbol. And it looks like, I think it's supposed to be the X-ray scope. Yeah. Because the X-ray visor had a circular HUD. And I also got an Eevee hat. Because a friend of mine gifted me a Let's Go Eevee a couple years ago. Yeah, so I have 2 Pokemon hats. I have the Ash Ketchum hat I got at Fanime, and I have that Eevee hat. So if I shrink back, I might as well also show. I also got a Ken amiibo. I just wanted it because to go with the Ryu amiibo I had. And let's see. Oh, and I guess if you buy a lot of stuff, they give you a medallion. Like my brother just got a Link sticker or something, but my dad got an Inkling Girl little medallion thing, and I got an Animal Crossing one with the female villager and Isabelle. Oh, I forgot to explain this ribbon here, but I'll do that after I'm done talking about the Nintendo store. Yeah, so if I shrink down one more time. Yeah, Pikmin, Pikachu. Of course I took a photo, since I had my Ash hat. Amiibo are finally in stock now. This is their whole Amiibo wall. And there's another video I shot. Yeah, there's some more, I was tempted to get this Charizard hat, but I decided to get the Eevee one because I have Let's Go Eevee. There's a Miraidon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that Pokemon's name right. They also have the one from Scarlet version. And then there's a Team Rocket jacket. I was very tempted to get this, but then I saw the price was like $100 or something. I'm sure there's a joke that can be made about Team Rocket overcharging people. And then here we have Pikachu looking like a nun. Like, I didn't know what the fuck this was supposed to be, but I read the tag and it's like supposed to be Wedding Kimono Pikachu or something. So, and then we have Detective Pikachu down here. A bunch of Charmanders. A Lego of Yoshi that I guess his tongue can extend. I wondered if they are they going to also have Mario smacking Yoshi's head or something, because that's what the graphic looks like. But then there's also artwork showing Mario pointing instead. So, there's a debate, is Mario abusing Yoshi or something? Then there's Chimchar. This is a much nicer, fluffier looking Chimchar than the Chimchar plushie I had that I found abandoned in a parking lot. More Pokemon stuff. Oh, there, I took a picture of this just to show that this nun Pikachu is called Wedding Kimono Pikachu. And more Pokemon stuff. There's a Miraidon, and I don't remember what the Scarlet one's called. There's the Eevee hat that I got. And some of the figurines they had around Pikachu. There's a Cone Bee. And then, oh, Bowser found some peaches that he likes. Yeah, I couldn't resist. And then there's a bunch of Yoshis, Animal Crossing stuff. There's Isabelle. And I know the main Tanuki character is named Tom Nook, but I don't know what the little ones are called. And then I think that's it. And there's my medallion. Pictures I took of that. Okay. Nope. Someone's trying to call me. Oh, Timmy and Tommy. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention, explain this ribbon. Gen 5 isn't Pokemon. This is, let me blow this up again. Okay, so, at Fanime, there's a group called Gen 5 Isn't Pokemon, literally this ribbon. And, they did some very some of the panels I went to, they have some very satirical, sarcastic panels. They had several panels at Fanime, but I only went to 2 of them. Because, I was balancing time with, volunteering and everything and wanting to see the Artist Alley and Dealer Hall. But one of the panels I went to, and I'll post videos of these later, one of them was literally called Gen 5 Isn't Pokemon, and it's basically just all of people's grievances about Gen 5 done in a satirical way. And I went to a second panel they did. It was the Pokemon movie review hour or something, where they did very sarcastic reviews of all the Pokemon movies, but they did them out of chronological order, so they're jumping back and forth between generations. And they were really funny panels. They also did a Waluigi panel and a Wario panel and a Super Mario Super Show panel. I really wanted to see the Super Show panel, but that intersected with one of my volunteer times. So I couldn't see that one, but they do post their stuff on YouTube. So I could probably find their YouTube and watch their other videos, see the panels that I missed. But yeah, I actually have 2. They actually handed me a ribbon at the first panel I saw, the Gen 5 Ain't Pokemon one, and I picked up a nicer looking one at the Pokemon movie review panel. The Pokemon movie review panel is funny because for that panel, the people in the group wore Team Skull outfits, and one of them was even cosplaying Team Skull's leader. I don't remember his name, but it was they were very funny panels and very edgy. They reminded me a lot of the Garfield Mike Pence panel I went to at Further Confusion 2024. I still need to post a video of that panel. I haven't done it because the audio isn't very good, and I was going to try and subtitle the video. But, I don't know. Subtitling the video when I can't make it out very well is just very repetitive. One of these days I should try and finish it. Yeah. I'm going to pause the stream and then restart, because I'm going to do a new segment. Because, again, I don't want these videos to get way too big when I try to burn them to CDs. So I'll, if I were in charge of Nintendo, I made a successor to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and making the tone and the style of 2010's Cartoon Network show. Kind of edgy, but not overbearing like what the Blue Rat tried to do with Sonic Boom. Here's an odd idea for a Mario cartoon. There was the one episode of Sonic Boom where they had a Tapir character that supposedly made fun of Chris Chan. Like, what if they did a Mario cartoon where they made fun of Movie Bob or something, who I know is like someone who is like a really obsessed Mario fan. Yeah, that's an idea for... Okay, I'm gonna just pause the stream and then restart and start the actual Hiragana comic. Yeah, because I titled this Hiragana and Katakana comic Continued, but that's an inaccurate title. So, just a moment. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm gonna close all these windows. Actually, I didn't need to close that many windows. Okay, let me put away these Garfield books really quick. Oops. Oh, shit. I should have probably kept the screen of Domino with... I should have kept that screen up while I was putting stuff away. Oh well. Oh, I dropped a few books on the floor. Put away my stuff really quick. Put away this Pogo book. Oh, actually, I'll keep that out for a bit because there was something I wanted to mention. The amiibo. Okay. Let's start the next part of the stream. Oh, look at that. I even have the business card for a Gen 5 Ain't Pokemon. And there's like a QR code if you want to check out their links and everything. I like that they make it look like the Super Game Boy border of Pokemon Red. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, blueberry pie, 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 blueberry pie. Everybody love the blueberry pie. Everybody love the blueberry pie. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to do that. You don't get it? It's an old video The Amazing Atheist made years ago where he wanted to try and make an internet meme that would become the new Rickroll, and it failed. He held a statue of a cherub or something, a cherub head, and just went blueberry pie for a couple minutes. Yeah, I just wanted to reference it because, I got something that's not a cherub head, but it's kind of similar. Oh, let me put that away. Okay. Enough lollygagging. Let's get to doing the comic. All right. I actually already have it ready here. I'm gonna oops, I don't know how many pages I'll do, but eventually I want to start the Axel model kit as well. Oh, the reason why I want to have the Pogo book out. Yeah, one of the panels I went to, I'll just embiggen this again. One of the panels I went to at Fanime, I guess it'll be kind of a follow-up to the Chinese language panel I went to at Further Confusion. It was a panel on video game translations, and the panel host talked about the difficulties of translating games from English into other languages like Spanish, French, Japanese, Chinese, and Russian, and all the accommodations you have to make for different font systems in different countries, and how to translate words and everything. And a question I wish I had asked the panel host was talking about. One of the things he talked about was when you're translating, like when you're doing a translation, you have to make very, very meticulous translation notes explaining, like, sometimes a translator might not know the story to the game, and so they might translate lines incorrectly, or they might not know which character is talking in a certain line of dialogue.
So you have to be very specific, like this character is talking in this place, and if you have a joke or a pun, you have to make notes explaining the joke, saying this is what the joke is, this is why it makes sense in this language. You're going to have to try and come up with an equivalent joke in this other language. And it made me... I wish I had asked the panel host, like, what if you're translating something like Pogo here? And if you've never read Pogo, the characters speak in kind of a pseudo-southern dialect, swamp speak. I don't know. Maybe I'll just read some of the panels. We is looking for a cure for Uncle Baldwin's bald cure. It growed feathers on old Churchy, and he don't want to go through life being a bird, seeing as he already knows owl already. Yeah, and it's pseudo-southern dialect, and characters will mispronounce words or invent words on occasion, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, what if you were to translate a comic like Pogo into Spanish or Japanese or Chinese or some other non-English language? Like how do you do the swamp speak where characters are mispronouncing things all the time or making up words? It's just, I don't know, that seems like it would be very, very difficult to localize. And that's an issue that's brought up in the panel, like how do you translate jokes into other languages, and or like he also showed an instance where in like the Spanish version of Pokemon Sun where they accidentally put in a Spanish vulgarity. It's like the problem is with the Spanish translation of Pokemon, Nintendo only focuses on Spanish in Spain. They don't do translations for Mexican Spanish or South American Spanish in all the different countries and everything, because there are different dialects of Spanish. They only do Spain Spanish, and so like a word that's one of the problems when you have so many dialects of Spanish. It's like a word that is innocuous in one country could make no sense or could possibly be offensive in another country. And in the Spanish version of Pokemon Sun and Moon, they have one of the characters say a Spanish sexual term. I think it's like it's okay in Spain, but in other countries it's something offensive. So that's just something like that's one of the problems. It makes me wonder, like, it would be interesting if I found like a Spanish Pogo book or something, and I could just see how do they translate the comic in Spanish? How do they replicate the swamp speak, or do they even bother? They just translate things straight, and have none of the flavor of the English text. I don't know. Okay, so enough of a side tangent. Let's actually get to working on this comic, and then I'll start working on Axel. So I actually took a photograph of myself posing like Peter here. I don't know if it's visible. Yeah, this drawing doesn't look too bad, but I did want to... I probably don't have to alter this drawing very much. I'll probably just make the hand look a bit better here. Probably make it a little more outstretched. Oh, 14. I don't want it that big. Yeah, so I've had a very interesting last 2 weeks, traveling so much and seeing so many things. Maybe in a future stream, I'll draw Brock the parrot or something. I don't know, either do a realistic drawing of the actual parrot or do a cartoon version where he looks like Brock from Pokemon. don't know how many pages I'll do. There we go. All of Peter's fingers. Yeah, you can't purposely make memes. Memes happen because of the people. Yeah, that's something I learned from Berkeley Breathed, the creator of Opus in Bloom County. Like, he did a Q&A on Twitter years ago, before the dark ages of Adolf Musk owning Twitter, or X. But I asked Berkeley Breathed, what are your tips for creating, a good comic character? And he gave kind of a surprising answer. He basically said, it's futile to make if you try to set out to make a good character, it's futile because a lot of the time good characters just happen. And the reason why he says this is his own experience creating Opus the Penguin. Like, when he first introduced Opus, he was just like a pet penguin owned by one of the characters. And the character in Opus didn't really become popular until he did this one comic where Opus meets a Hare Krishna person, and everything the Hare Krishna person says, Opus would mishear it, and he says, Hare Krishna, hairy fishnuts? And it was just a comic he did, but then it got such a positive response, and it was such a surprise that Berkeley Breathed didn't expect. And so that's when Opus started to get a much larger role in the comic and basically supplant, I think, Milo Bloom as the main character. So that's what he means, sometimes good characters just happen. They're not something you set out to do. I guess the lesson is, you never know what will resonate with audiences. Okay. And for Peter's... Excuse me. I don't have to change too much. Make Peter look a bit neater. Maybe broaden his shoulders a bit. And redo his mouth a bit. And maybe his cheeks also. Just... And he's got a T-shaped nose that's supposed to resemble how Garfield's nose looked in the early 80s. A bit of the Garfield influence on Peter. And of course the tick marks, or whatever those dots are called. I just call them tick marks because that's what a How to Draw Garfield page in his third book called them. Maybe I could show that in a bit. whisker plots. Debated with myself, should I give Peter fangs? Just because the Peter fursuit head has little fangs on it. There's only been very few times I've drawn Peter with fangs. There we go. Just, there we go. Just cleaner looking drawing. It's a little too long. I don't want the eye to look too tall. There we go. You know, a little problem I have drawing Peter sometimes, having his eyebrows get too close to the top of his head, where he's got the, I guess, tabby cat forehead marking. I can hear my brother talking in his room. I guess he's streaming at the same time. Talking about our dog Bella. There we go. When someone's in the bathroom and turn on the fan, I hate when they do that. Lawyers prepare for everything. Yeah. Speaking of lawyers, I've thought of also doing a stream talking about my jury duty experience, even though I was dismissed, but it's one, I don't want to I mean, the court case was pretty serious, so I don't want to be oh, it was a fun time or something. I don't want to trivialize it, but at the same time, I think it would be interesting to, inform people what it's like going to court. I told one of my friends, the idea, and he was basically he thought it was a bad idea because, you don't want to, air out some of the things you hear people saying in court. That might be a little too personal, so if I do talk about my jury duty experience, I'll probably, make it very broad and not go into way too much detail. Probably just, this is how the American justice system works type stuff. Just go over the basics. I don't know, it's just a very different experience. It's not every day you go to a courthouse. So that's why I thought of talking about it. There we go. It's a nice looking drawing of Peter. There we go. Much nicer looking than how it looked before. Okay. See how photo reference really helps. Excuse me. I have hiccups. Save. Oh yeah, that's. Yeah, it's kind of like the weird thing with companies like Disney and Nintendo. You know, you like their products, but you don't like the practices of the company. You know, could you imagine if, I don't know, Nintendo became so litigious that even showing pictures of their store in San Francisco, like, I don't know, got a DMCA takedown or something. And we've got Basho the Dragon here. I'm going to have 2 art commissions. Well, actually, I already got one of them. I forgot to mention, I guess maybe, oh, I don't have my portfolios with me, but, I'm going to have 2 art commissions from Fanime. One of them was done in just a day, so I already have it. It was a commission of my, my Dragon Huang by an artist named, June, I think? Or Jen? I'll post it later because I'm going to get another drawing from Chris Kaiko, the guy that did the Cherry Blossom drawing of Basho. I commissioned him to do a drawing of James, my Red Panda character. He was at Fanime. And, you know, I like his drawing of Basho so much I decided to commission him again. And he also streams on Twitch. He told me he actually streamed the Basho drawing, but I missed seeing it, so I might have to go through his old streams and see if I can find it, because I would love to share that. What if I, what if I did a Twitch stream where I watch Chris Kaiko's Twitch stream drawing Basho or drawing James or something? You know, a Twitch stream within a Twitch stream kind of going on. That would be kind of crazy. I've seen like quite a number of videos very critical of Nintendo, and like it's really strange. Like I remember for Metroid Dread, Mercury Stream, the Spanish company they outsourced to make the game, like they had this thing where you only get credited if you were like at least 1/4 of the development time for Metroid Dread. If you worked for less than 1/4 of Metroid Dread's development time, you wouldn't be credited for some reason. And then when they did Metroid Prime Remastered, like the original Metroid Prime staff were all just credited special thanks to original Metroid Prime staff, and even though the Switch port was just building off what they did on the GameCube. So like people that worked on Metroid Prime weren't happy about that, and there's Metroid fans that have interviewed a lot of the old staff from Retro Studios just talking about what a shit show the making of that game was. It's kind of a miracle that game was as good as it was when it had so much stacked against it. There we go. One of the ideas I've brainstormed is, what if I did Studio Ghibli versions of my characters? Actual drawing Studio Ghibli, style, not using an AI or whatever. Because that's, I guess maybe, even if I'm not very good at imitating Miyazaki's style, I could at least, take pride in saying, I drew this with my own hands. I didn't use some AI bot to do it for me. Hmm. One of my favorite drawings of Basha I've done was one I did in a draw pile where it was like Basho stomping on as a macro, stomping on a car, and he's like, ouch! And like I made him look very Looney Tunesy style. I really like that one drawing I did. I'm kind of tempted to bring it up and use it as a reference for this drawing. There we go. I need to do model sheets of my characters. Like, I do have rough drawings of model sheets for Peter and James. A couple of my characters, but, like, I haven't colored them or anything. Just so I can be more consistent with how I draw them. Yeah, I'm mirroring the drawing just to make sure it looks good the other way. Just want to mirror it and make sure like Basha doesn't look strange when drawn the other way. Drawing his nose. I don't like how that nose looks. I feel like his head is a bit too small, but when I compared it to Peter's, it's like it looks the same size. Yeah, I feel like I'm making his nose a little too long. There we go. There's his other ear. There we go. And let's make his cheek a little bigger. There we go. That's an okay looking snout. Might make it bigger or longer later. I don't know. It can be a bit difficult to draw like long snouts like this because you got to show the teeth in front. Of course, with my dragon characters, I show them with little fangs. There we go. I don't think. I'm not sure if fangs would be visible or not. There we go. And don't forget the little whiskers. It's like that's something I frequently forget to draw with my dragon characters. Like, I might share a work in progress with someone. Like, oh, check out this drawing I'm doing of Basho or Yen or Huang, and then I'm looking at it and it's like, oh wait, I forgot the whiskers. Now I have to redraw it and everything. There we go. Save this. What game franchise is that? Was it Starfy or is it that one? Because I remember you telling me about that series, Ken. Like, I don't know anything about Starfy other than Starfy appears as an assist trophy in Smash Brothers. It was like, I think, a Japan-only game until Smash Brothers basically introduced Starfy to more people, and I don't remember if Nintendo has decided to like localize some Starfy games outside of Japan or not. I mean, I've not paid attention to the Starfy series. Okay, this is one of the difficulties of drawing, my dragon characters. They're, what are these called again? They're feelers, or their not antenna, whiskers, that's it. Just, their whiskers might get in the way of other things, like their necks. It's something I want to be careful with. Like, even though I'm using myself as a reference, I'm a pretty chubby guy, so it's a bit, difficult to like draw my dragon characters who are very skinny. And I have to, I don't know, either lose weight or get a skinnier friend to reference or something, or I feel like I need to sneeze. Bless me. There we go. There we go. Excuse me. Trying to figure out how long Bosch's arm should be here. I mean, this is one of the challenges because, this is not a regular human head. I have to figure out, how much of Bosch's arm is behind his head. Yeah. Cookie Run. I'm not familiar with Cookie Run. If it has cookies, well then that's something I'm interested in. Oh, cookie starts with C. Although these days, Sesame Street needs to be politically correct and have Cookie Monster talking about eating vegetables as well. And maybe that's what Donald Trump and all the other right-wingers are complaining about PBS being too woke these days. Can you believe? Sesame Street is so woke that Cookie Monster tells kids to eat their vegetables. It's an abomination. I mean, I wish that was the actual reason they were complaining and not the actual, what they're really saying. Something more ridiculous. I mean, that should be a parody comic. First it started with Cookie Monster telling kids to eat their vegetables, and then next they were saying, crush capitalism. There we go. Oh, that's weird. My phone picked up my voice and thought I was giving it a command, and kind of startled me. That's one of the scary things about technology. Your phone is listening to you all the time. Just to do something mundane, you ask your phone to tell you where to find the nearest fast food restaurant or something, but it's also recording you just talking about shit normally. So I don't know, you're always under surveillance. Thought the Patriot Act was bad? You should see the iPad Act, or the iPod Act, or iPhone Act, or whatever. Jeff Bezos is listening in on you, or Tim Cook. Everything you say just so they can send you the whatever ads interest you or whatever. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, what if, since Amazon owns Twitch, what if they're using everything I say to target me with specific ads? If I mention Garfield a lot, will Twitch start giving me a bunch of Garfield ads? I've gotten a bunch of really bad-looking AI ads on Facebook, just showing Garfield products that don't exist that were made with AI. It's just kind of disgusting and gross. Although, the really bad AI shit does end up on accounts like bad Facebook AI slop on Twitter or Blue Sky and shows hilarious looking ads with just bad AI renders of things, and it makes you wonder, like, why do companies think this looks good? What's wrong with hiring an actual photographer with actual people or actual artists or something? I'm very glad that Fanime, as far as I know, didn't use AI. I mean, maybe there's someone on Blue Sky that, like, has an instance where, oh, here's Fanime using AI or on this ad or something, but as far as I know, there's been no instances found. There we go. Okay. Let's go to page 3. See how long is I? 44 minutes. Oh, I remember that was an image is a JPEG because it always generates a JPEG, and if there's fuzz pixels. Also, just odd lighting or getting hands wrong. A lot of AI art, quote unquote, is like very glossy looking. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, here we got just one picture of Peter here, no Basho. I was wondering what's this, but then I remembered. That's probably just a speck of dust or something, or a pen mark. Because my idea with this comic, since it opens with Peter showing Basho a notebook, I was going to have a notebook background on each page. And the blue lines here, it could be like, I don't know, maybe Peter is writing with both blue pen marks and black pens. Let's make this drawing of Peter look better. Oops. Like, I did take a ref photo, even though you don't see his arms. I just did a random arm pose. Oh, that's good, Wax Badger. Speaking of traditional art, when I met Tom Fawn, I actually showed him, well, not the actual sketchbook, but I showed him for Affinity the drawing I did of Metal Greymon and the little Agumon cheering him on, and he liked it. I kind of like that one of my watchers made an character AI of Peter, and I liked that I think it was Wax Badger tried it out, and he said that AI Peter started talking about wanting to burn schools down or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Or how about, I don't know, that one Willy Wonka event where they had the entire script written by AI, and the AI made a character named the Unknown. They didn't know how to interpret the unknown, so they just had someone in a weird silver mask. You know, an evil chocolate maker that lives inside the walls of the chocolate factory. And now there's people like doing fan art of the Unknown in the style of the Willy Wonka books. What if this character really was in the Wonka books? That's pretty funny. I don't know. It's like one of the few times where, I don't know, AI accidentally generated something that was kind of hilarious. I mean, how could an AI... Like, I don't know how the character AI thing works, but I just... What the fuck information do you have to enter? This is Peter is a Garfield fan who overeats and and likes being bear paw and everything. And how where in that character description do you get? And he also likes to burn schools down. Like, it's just, how the hell does that happen? Okay, I'm not happy with how his face looks so far. Redo it. I mean, the circle. I don't know, I think I made the eyes a little too big, and it makes Peter look too much like an uwu kawaii Disney character or something. There we go. Excuse me. And bringing up the topic of that Garfield VHS cover, I've thought, like, if I ever do like a book of some kind with my characters, like maybe kind of imitating the style of old Garfield books with, I don't know, not watercolor, the airbrush looking shading and everything. Oh, oops! I just remembered something. A little forehead marking on Peter. Let me go to the previous page. Oh, I already have it. Never mind. I thought I forgot it. There we go. remember like seeing a Spanish language video like talking about the proper way to pronounce, the D and the R in Spanish, proper vowels or whatever, and like the name Pedro is pronounced a very particular way in Spanish. I have to rewatch that video just so I know how to properly say Peter's name in Spanish. There we go. There we go. Much nicer looking than my old sketch. There we go. Let's mirror this just to check. Okay, that looks good. Yeah. Maybe it's a little looks a little slanted, so maybe just a little more flat like that. There we go. There we are. There we go. Much nicer, just the before and after. Initial sketch and this, much more cleaned up. All right. Yeah, that one just went fast just because there was one drawing of Peter. Let's see, how many are on this page? How long is... Okay, almost an hour. Okay, this one has a few more drawings. Just Peter, Cinnamon, Yoshi, and Basho again. Although this drawing of Basho doesn't look too bad. That one might just require like just some minor touch-ups, and then maybe I'll then go on to like building the axle model kit, because it is getting kind of late. Okay, I remember in the translation panel, they talked about all the pronouns for I in Japanese, and watashi is the standard one that basically most polite, and well, maybe not most, but it's the standard if you just want to be regular polite. And Cinnamon is nothing but is not a polite character, so I should probably replace that with a much more haughty version. Like, Japanese is very expressive with how you can express yourself with the pronoun you choose. So maybe something more like ware or boku. I'm going to go with ware. Ware wa Cinnamon desu. There. So it does not suggest that Cinnamon is a polite character. Quite the opposite. Okay. Again, let's clean this face up a bit. His ears. Maybe make this face look a little more sinister. There. Make the cheek push up a little more, so it looks like he's making a more sinister smile. Oh yeah. On there. And I guess I was drawing with a sinister smile like this. Let's see how mirror it just to see how it looks the other way. Looks okay. It seems it makes a almost Joker-like smile. I don't know if that looks... That lower lip is a bit unsettling or not. Yeah, poor Cinnamon and Midnight. They used to be the main characters of my comics, but then Domino and Peter kind of supplanted them. So I guess Cinnamon is grinning really big just because he's glad he gets to have like a minor role in this comic. And Yoshi here. This is not supposed to be an... Yes, Midnight is the black guinea pig. Yeah, this is not a completely on-model Yoshi, so I'm not really concerned about matching Mario style exactly. Well, let me just bring up a picture of Yoshi on my phone. Yeah, I think I drew Yoshi a little bit like Odie from Garfield. Let's... Well, I'm looking up pictures of Yoshi on my phone now. So I could draw a more on-model version of Yoshi. Yeah, I don't want happy-looking Yoshi mouth. I want more something doesn't look right. Skeptical Yoshi mouth. Yeah. It's not supposed to be a happy-looking Yoshi. Shit. Should I make Yoshi's lip a little farther out? There we go. There's a slightly more on-model version of Yoshi. spines on its back of its head. Here, how they're drawn depends on if you're looking at a 2D drawing of Yoshi or a 3D render. Well, funny, I wasn't referencing the Super Mario World cartoon version of Yoshi. I just typed in Yoshi and looked at the first couple images that come up on Google Images, and it's all 2D 2D illustrations of Yoshi from, I guess it looks like Super Mario World, or the 3D renders that appear in Smash Brothers or the more recent Yoshi games. Yeah, basically Yoshi's like confused seeing its name written as either Yoshi or Yosi. Okay, this is kind of a difficult drawing of Peter, because he's supposed, the way I'm like trying to draw it look like he's going psst, like that. Yeah, he's not exactly happy to be talking about Cinnamon. He was like the trickster guinea pig. No, I would agree. I prefer 2D also over 3D. I mean, I liked animating in 2D in art school, and even still now, but trying to animate in 3D felt too complicated to me, since you have to worry about a third dimension and everything, and also working with, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember what you've got like various control things in the computer that help you do ease in, ease out on certain motions, and those just felt really imprecise. I remember Don Bluth during his SAC Anime Q&A basically saying, basically, I'm not going to say he hates 3D, but it's like he felt like you kind of lose something when you have a computer kind of do the take over some of the steps, like some of the in-between steps for you, instead of drawing each frame yourself. I mean, I know that drawing every single frame is very difficult and time consuming, but it's like everything you do is deliberate and thought out, and not just a computer filling in the blanks. And when I was in line to get his autograph at SAC Anime, one of the other people in line was like, I made a comment about NFTs, and someone said, it would be interesting to hear Don Bluth talk about, what he thinks of AI art, basically. And his comments about 3D and kind of not liking computers filling in the blanks for animation, I guess, gives us a bit of a hint of what he thinks about AI and NFTs. Okay. Okay, now we got slightly not very happy looking eyes on Peter, because he has to talk about a rather unpleasant guinea pig. God knows what run-ins Peter has had with Cinnamon. Maybe I should draw a comic like that sometime. I mean, like, I think the one major prank comic I've drawn Cinnamon doing is the one unfinished animation where he builds the heart attack simulator that I did for college. And then also a gift art I did for someone named Sangott where I drew his Pokemon Mystery Dungeon team. His Sawsbuck character getting his antlers TP'd by Cinnamon and his friends. There. Kind of a serious face Peter. Maybe instead of like doing this pose, maybe I should have him crossing his arms. Like he really does not want to talk about Cinnamon. Maybe I should, maybe to indicate why he's unhappy to talk about Cinnamon, maybe I should change what Cinnamon says here. Wari wa Shinamon des. Maybe I should have him say something like, I don't know, Pita wa kusado des. Calling Peter a piece of shit or something. Because so is shit in Japanese. Then you'd understand why Peter is unhappy. Or I don't know, maybe Cinnamon says something an anime villain would say. I don't know, something disrespectful towards Peter. Let's see, let me just finish drawing Peter's face here first. It is 9:06. You know, maybe I should start on the Axel model kit in a bit and finish this page up later. It's kind of like, I don't know, before you can have your dessert watching a model kit, you have to eat your vegetables first watching me draw this comic. That was a weird comparison I came up with. Something I usually do when I'm drawing characters is like have a circle behind their head just so I can, you know, get their head evenly shaped and everything. Maybe I should have done that with this drawing of Peter. There we go. And there's a little tabby forehead marking. Ears. I do have a Japanese, like 2 Japanese insult books, so maybe I could just have Cinnamon repeat an insult from one of those books and just replace, you know, somewhere put Peter's name in the insult just so it's directed at him. Oh, well, Peter is kind of, his design is supposed to look, be a cross between Tom from Tom and Jerry and Garfield. And that's why Peter's a gray cat with white highlights here and there, but he's got the stripes like Garfield. Somewhere I have a drawing where I tried to draw Peter in Tom and Jerry style. Just a moment. Alright. Yeah, you get to see me. Well, I don't know if I'm on camera. Taking a photo ref. Let's say 5 seconds. Oh my god. Wow. Come on. Done. Wow. I need to embiggen the window again just to see. Look at this pissed off face. Okay, I don't know if it's... Okay, it's not... It's a little too... Let me try doing the... Come on. Oh, well, that's... Well, look at that. Oh, it's reflection. I mean, I don't know if just the amount of piss off I did in that face. Yeah. That's one of the fun things with photo refs, just making funny faces in the camera. Okay, that's definitely a keeper. Okay, I'm almost... I might have to... Gonna make another copy. Because in my photo, my head is leaning down a bit. So I might rotate Peter's head. That's why I just made a copy, so I have the original still. There. Shoot. Crossed arms are always very challenging to draw for me. And the angle I was at, because my elbow, my near arm is so close, it makes my arm look gigantic. Like, it makes me look like a bodybuilder, when really it's just the perspective of my arm towards the camera. So maybe I should have backed up from my camera just so it doesn't make me look like a giant. Shit, I didn't have my necklace out. Well, the necklace will be hidden behind Peter's arm. There. There. Now we have a kind of pissed off looking Peter. Because he doesn't want to be talking about cinnamon. Oops. Rotated the wrong way. I just want to see it this way. There we go. Now let's do Basho. Yeah, I do this really quick and then I'll start the axle model kit. This is a much simpler pose. It's just holding his hand out. Kind of similar to the pose I did of Peter earlier on, what was it, page 2? Yeah. And this drawing of Basho looks pretty good already, so. Hello, Jaxie. How chubby is Peter again, and should I give his tum-tum a quick little squeeze? I'm kind of inconsistent with how chubby I draw Peter. Like, I did a drawing where I said he weighed 120 pounds. No, not 100. 250 pounds. But I was thinking of, like, making him even heavier. Again, that's why I want to do, like, model sheets of my characters, just so I could try to stay more consistent. Now, for Basho. Okay, I probably will. His eyes, I think, are okay. Probably don't need to change those too much. His nose, I might have to redo a bit, even though that's not a bad looking nose. Well, maybe I will redo his eyes just a little bit. There we go. There we go. I hear my brother evilly laughing in his room. I don't know why. Maybe he did something devious in a game. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure Peter would appreciate being a stress toy. I mean, there's a lot of furry transformation artists like Azel the donkey. He's got a version of his donkey Sona that turns into a plushie, and I can't imagine like what it would look like if, I don't know, someone commissioned him to draw someone's persona transformed into a stress toy. It'd probably be similar to a plushie. Okay. Little fangs. There we go. There's Boscho's ear there. There we go. This is a drawing of Boscho I like. Yeah, I thought of like quitting and doing this later, but actually I think I'm going to try and finish this. And then I'll do the Axel model kit. I'm probably not going to get very far. I might do something like just building Axel's hands and arms or something, I don't know. There we go. You know, this is a drawing I'm pretty happy with making Boscho look pretty cute here. Don't forget his whiskers. Who are you, Ken? The Hulk? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And which Hulk, by the way, Ken? You know, Savage Hulk, Blue Hulk, Gray Hulk, Red Hulk. Like, I don't know, in the movies they usually just do the green version of him, but then when I try to watch Comics Explained videos about the Hulk, it's like there's all these other different Hulks, and it's like, God, this is confusing. Like, I don't know. If Bruce Banner is, I don't know, like, I don't know, if he takes this medication on this particular day, instead of turning into the Hulk, he'll turn into, I don't know, medicated Hulk or something. Joe Fix-It and, jeez. Like, Hulk lore is much more complicated than just, you know, he gets really mad and then turns into a rage monster. It's like he's got all these other emotions and everything. That the movies kind of just leave out. There we go. Huh. Okay. Let's save, just so my progress isn't lost. There we go. Zoom in and get the detail of his hand. I've had an idea with Basho's design, a really minor thing. Like, since Peter has a Cross of St. Peter necklace, like when I got here, and I gave my Red Panda character James a Cross of St. James necklace, I thought, like, what if I gave Basho an equivalent necklace, like, I don't know, a Shinto symbol or something? I don't know if that's a thing in Japanese culture to wear Shinto symbol or Buddhist symbols as necklaces, kind of like how people in the West might wear a Christian necklace with a cross or something. It's something I thought of. And maybe I should ask a Japanese furry if, you know, that's something that would make sense. Or would that just come off unusual? Like, I thought of doing the Tomoe, I hope I'm saying that right, symbol. Because coincidentally, the kanji for Tomoe is like one of the same kanji that's used when writing Basho's name. Although I think Basho's name includes a radical on top or something. It's like a coincidence I discovered while looking up kanji. I can show what I mean in a bit. Also, I know in Japan there's like a taboo with showing characters with 3 fingers and a thumb, because apparently the Yakuza, I don't know if I'm saying that right, punishes people by cutting off their fingers. So I don't know, would Basho having 3 fingers and a thumb with no pinky, like, be seen as controversial or something, even though he's a cartoon character? There we go. There we are. That looks good. I just like Peter looking so grumpy here. A grumpy cat. And, you know, maybe I could, you know, trying to think of something offensive Cinnamon could say. Hito wa kichikai desu. I don't know. Although, I don't know if Chikai or Hokuchi or words like that might be too offensive. I don't know. That's interesting, Ken. There we go. Alright, I'm going to pause the stream again and then transition to doing Axel. So, yeah, just so these video files don't get too big. So, BRB. I'll just